So when I was about 10, I was standing in line at the older kids diving board, the really tall one that all the older kids were diving off of. And there were a couple of older kids in line in front of me, and this was the first time I'd ever really interacted with really any kids near my age. And one of them turned around and looked at me and said, "You can't go on the diving board, you're too fat." And I thought, this person is older than me. I've never really met other people. They must know what they're talking about. And I really internalized that idea. Fast forward to now. I'm 380 pounds, 6'3". I have feet the size of boats. And I spent most of my life apologizing for my size, because I internalized that when I was so young that it became a part of who I thought I was. I let these older kids tell me who I was. I've tried to stay out of the way. I've tried to stay out from being underfoot. I'm usually knocking things over. I'm too big for most rooms. So I kind of hunch over and I stay in the background. I become a wallflower. And I looked at my size as a weakness, as a hindrance, something that keeps me from really connecting with people. And I thought it was a bad thing. I thought being a really big guy was bad. And so I never, ever accepted that side of myself until I finally went to this retreat. This is the most amazing experience. I had an epiphany, a man that saw me for who I could be. The person leading the event told me that my size is not a weakness, it's a strength. People look at me and they see safety, they see security. Spent so long apologizing for the parts of me that I thought were wrong, that I never really looked at them and saw them for what they could be. You know, safety, security. I've had this body for so long that I never really tapped into its potential. I never played football. Played a little bit of basketball in high school, but I didn't want to hurt people. I didn't want to hurt others the way I had been hurt, because I knew how that felt. But this person saw my size and my strength and said, if you could step into that, if you could actually step into your bigness, if you could accept that, you could be more powerful than anything. One of my favorite quotes is by Marianne Williamson, and it's, we're not afraid of being inadequate. We are afraid of being powerful beyond measure. And I love that quote so much because it speaks to exactly who I am. I am powerful beyond measure. But I spent so long being afraid of not living up to other people's expectations that I never tapped into that side of myself, until my 30s. And the fact that I'm standing here on this stage is a testament to what I'm talking about. I'm here because I was able to finally step into my own bigness, to step into my own potential. And my message is probably the scariest one that I've ever had, which is to look at the very thing that I never wanted to look at, my weakness, and turn it into a strength. So I stand here as an example of somebody who has stepped into their potential, their bigness. I had the most amazing experience with the people that did the Inspire event. I got to go to Liberia a while back, and this was the first time I'd really been able to go there with this embodiment of potential in mind. And when I went there, I thought I'd be surrounded by very tall black people, but I was the tallest, largest person they had ever seen. And so everywhere I went, just people were giving me this this look of who the hell is that giant person there? And so I had this opportunity in front of me to either go back inside and kind of hide back into myself, or to actually practice what I had learned so recently and step into my bigness. And so I went over there and I stood tall and I looked each person in the eye. And I found this connection, this amazing connection between people that didn't speak my language, people on the other side of the world would look at me and they'd give me that look, that, huh? And then I would just be looking at them and I would be standing in this and then they'd like wave or they'd break into a smile or something. And I connected with people around the world. I gave them permission to step into their bigness and their greatness. And it was the most transformative thing I had ever done until a year later when I got to go to Ecuador, which is another amazing experience. And I went there expecting it to be pretty much the same thing. It's like, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to be my best self, and they're going to see me for who I am. And the first thing that happened is I went over there and I got this great nickname from the people that lived there. They said, I was standing out in the rain at the time because I love rain. And they said, wow, Tiny really likes rain. And I thought, oh wow, I got my nickname, my traveling nickname. But there's this part of me that was like, deep down inside that kind of brought me right back to that diving board. That was like, are they making fun of me? And so it was this challenge, and the whole trip was me trekking through the jungle, the Amazon rainforest, and stepping on boards, and I'm breaking them left and right, and people are like really worried about me. They're like, I'm gonna have to carry you back to camp. Don't hurt yourself. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, I could like pick this thing up and just toss it over here. I don't need you to worry about me. I'm this giant guy. And the whole time I'm having this amazing adventure, I'm just hitting that diving board experience all over again, just feeling small. And so I get to go on this amazing trek down the side of the Andes Mountain. It's 9,000 feet elevation, which, what is that, 3,000 meters? And we start climbing down the side of this mountain. We climb down 2,000 feet down the side of this mountain. And I get to the halfway point, which is right when the clouds start to break so you can actually see what's underneath you. And I see way down there, there's this tiny little river. Like, what the crap is that? Is that where we're going? And yes, it was exactly where we were going. I keep going all the way down to the bottom, and the whole time I'm just like, what am I doing? And I finally get down there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna live here now. This is my home. But what I learned on that trip is that there's another side of stepping into your bigness, and that is accepting who you are and accepting help from others. Because where I end is where the next person begins. And if I can't accept help from the people around me and find support, I'm never gonna get back up that mountain. And I had to do that. I had to accept support and help from others. And it was amazing. I made it back up that mountain, and I learned the most powerful lesson in the world. And if I can leave you with anything, it is that follow your dream, find your passion, journey within, and then find your support system that will help take you to the next level. And they may be right here in the stadium. And that's the true journey within and the journey of stepping into your own bigness. Thank you very much.